Welcome to day 1, week 4 of the course, Campus Recruitment Training. Today we will focus on group discussion and business communication. We will start with a case study. Enhancing campus recruitment outcomes through group discussion and business communication. The title of this case study is Bridging the Gap, a strategic intervention in group discussion and business communication at Greenfield Institute of Technology. Greenfield Institute of Technology, a reputed Tier 2 engineering college in India, had consistently struggled with final year placements, especially in high-paying corporate sectors such as consulting, analytics, and management services. Feedback from recruiters consistently highlighted a major gap. That is, students were technically sound but lacked soft skills, especially group discussion performance and business communication proficiency. To address this, the Training and Placement Cell, in collaboration with an external consultant and internal faculty, launched a structured GD and business communication enhancement program for final year students. The program's goal was to improve student success in the preliminary screening stages of recruitment. The objectives of this course were to improve student articulation and presentation during group discussions, build confidence and clarity in both verbal and written business communication, simulate real-world interview and GD environments, equip students with frameworks and etiquette for professional growth and communication. They also had an implementation strategy. In phase 1, they decided for baseline assessment and diagnostics. Mock GDs and written communication tests were conducted for 300 final year students. Evaluation parameters included language fluency and clarity, structure of argument, listening and response skills, written business email format and tone. The result was only 20% of students met expected standards. In phase 2, they had planned for skill-based intervention through a 6-week module. In week 1 and 2, they had planned for foundational business communication. That is, they intended to train students on email etiquette, tone, and structure. They also included a practice task related to writing business emails, proposals, and memos. They also included peer review sessions and feedback cycles. In week 3 and 4, they had focused on group discussion, frameworks, and role plays. The GD strategies that they tried to train students were puzzle analysis, SWOT analysis, problem solution framework, and REAL method, that is, reason, example, evidence, link. So in practice rounds, they had included case-based rounds, abstract, factual, and argumentative topics. They also had planned for video recording for self-analysis. The common pitfalls were interrupting, deviation, dominance, and passive participation. In week 5, they had planned for real-time simulations with industry experts, where industry HRs and alumni conducted live GDs and gave individual feedback. Email response and business writing under time constraints were also implemented. Vocabulary enhancement and persuasive speaking drills were also part of their planned training. In week 6, they focused on personal branding and communication. Here, LinkedIn profile reviews and resume linked elevator pitches were incorporated, and sessions on tone modulation, storytelling, and impactful openings and closing in GDs were also. The final assessment included simulated pre-placement, group discussion, and business communication tasks. The key challenges that they faced were language barrier. Several students from rural backgrounds struggled with English fluency. Secondly, they had confidence issues. Many hesitated to speak up in group setting, and some even had overconfidence. A few students mistook aggression for assertiveness. These were addressed through personalized mentoring by encouraging use of English in informal campus settings, that is, through language clubs. Mindfulness and confidence building workshops were conducted. So the outcome of this intervention was placements increased by 35% in companies requiring strong GD and business communication skills. Over 70% of participants received above average or excellent ratings in mock GDs post-training. Student confidence in communication, measured by a self-assessment and mentor observations, improved by 60%. A shift in perception from group discussion is elimination to group discussion is an opportunity to showcase leadership and collaboration. There was a shift in perception from GD is elimination to group discussion is an opportunity to showcase leadership and collaboration. Now let us have a look at the sample impact stories. In the first story, Aishwarya, initially hesitant to speak, was mentored to structure her arguments using the REAL method. She aced a group discussion round at Deloitte and now mentors juniors in her free time. In the second instance, Rajat, from being aggressive and dominating, was trained to be a facilitative leader. He succeeded in clearing Capgemini's GD and secured an offer as a business analyst. Takeaways and best practices. Holistic training is more effective than isolated group discussion practice. That is, writing, listening, speaking, and thinking must be integrated. Peer and mentor feedback loops, faster improvement. Simulation and real-time practice build confidence and readiness more than theoretical instruction. Industry-aligned communication formats such as emails, reports, pitches are vital for post-placement success too. This case study illustrates that targeted training in group discussion and business communication can significantly improve campus recruitment outcomes. By focusing not just on content but also delivery, confidence, and strategic thinking, students can be transformed into compelling communicators ready for global business challenges. GIT now serves as a model for similar institutions aiming to boost employability through soft skills excellence. Let us now focus on types of group discussions. There are various types such as case-based, abstract, factual, and controversial. Group discussions or GDs are an essential part of campus recruitment processes. They help recruiters assess communication skills, clarity of thought, leadership, teamwork, and decision-making abilities. Understanding the types of GDs allows participants to tailor their responses and adopt appropriate strategies. The four common types are case-based, abstract, factual, and controversial. Each of these types tests different aspects of a candidate's personality and thinking. Case-based group discussion. In a case-based GD, also known as a situation-based or decision-making GD, a scenario or case is presented to the group. This scenario often mimics a real-life business, ethical, or crisis situation. Participants are expected to analyze the case, identify the core issues, evaluate options, and suggest practical solutions. This format assesses the candidate's analytical thinking, problem-solving ability, leadership, and team collaboration. Recruiters look for structured thought processes, logical reasoning, and the ability to balance different perspectives. For example, a company is losing customers due to poor after-sales service. As a team of consultants, you are asked to identify the reasons and propose a strategy to improve customer retention. In such discussions, it is helpful to use business frameworks like SWOT analysis, that is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat analysis, and also root cause analysis or the 5 Ws and 1H method. Participants should first agree on the nature of the problem, brainstorm possible solutions, assign hypothetical roles if needed, and arrive at a feasible action plan. This type emphasizes teamwork over individual performance and rewards those who can synthesize group input effectively. Abstract group discussion. An abstract GD presents an open-ended, often philosophical or metaphorical topic that may not have a single interpretation. These topics test creativity, lateral thinking, and the ability to structure abstract thoughts into meaningful dialogue. Unlike factual or case-based GDs, abstract topics have no defined context. The candidate's ability to give meaning to an ambiguous idea and relate it into larger themes such as life, success, failure, technology, or society becomes crucial. Examples include topics like the color blue, silence speaks, the invisible land, or a drop of water. Participants can interpret these in terms of emotions, philosophy, social constructs, or even economic principles depending on their thought process. The key to handling abstract topics is to anchor the discussion using a central theme or metaphor and then explore it from multiple angles. For instance, the color blue could be interpreted as calmness, corporate identity, or even depression. From there, the participant can connect it to personal experiences, cultural references, or global issues. This type of GD rewards originality, coherence, and the ability to engage others in exploring new perspectives. It also tests clarity of expression and the balance between imagination and relevance. Now let us look at factual group discussion. Factual GDs are based on current events, statistics, or general knowledge. These topics require awareness of the world, logical organization of facts, and the ability to connect information to form an argument. Examples include India's digital revolution, impact of globalization on rural India, cryptocurrency and its future, and the role of artificial intelligence in healthcare. In such discussions, factual accuracy is important. Our participants should ideally begin by defining the topic or presenting background information. From there, they should bring in examples, data, and trends to support their argument. This type tests the participants' awareness, articulation, and ability to structure factual content in a persuasive and logical manner. It is important not to rely on opinion alone, but to base arguments on verified information. Participants who can bring a balanced view and use facts to validate their points tend to stand out. Factual GDs also encourage a multidimensional approach where the topic can be viewed from political, economic, technological, and social perspectives. Controversial group discussion. Controversial GDs present a debatable issue, often one that evokes strong opinions. Topics in this category test emotional maturity, respect for diverse opinions, and the ability to engage in constructive argument without aggression. Examples include: should capital punishment be abolished? Is social media a threat to democracy? Do reservations undermine merit? And should gambling be legalized? Such discussions are designed to observe how well participants can argue their stance logically while managing disagreement. Recruiters are not looking for who wins the debate, but how individuals participate in a respectful and balanced manner. To perform well in this type, it is important to acknowledge opposing views even while presenting your own. Emotional control is crucial. Participants should use facts, examples, and ethical reasoning to support their viewpoints. A structured approach helps in managing such topics. One can begin with the background, define the scope of the issue, present their stand, and support it with real-life instances, expert opinions, or legal frameworks. Participants should also be aware of the social and cultural sensitivity of the topic. Controversial GDs often reveal leadership traits such as the ability to diffuse tension, redirect the discussions constructively, or bring the group to a consensus. Each type of group discussion serves a distinct purpose and evaluates different skill sets. Case-based GDs assess structured problem solving and teamwork. Abstract topics focus on creativity and conceptual thinking. Factual discussions test awareness and logic. Controversial GDs evaluate emotional intelligence, diplomacy, and ethical reasoning. Preparation for campus recruitment GDs should involve exposure to all four types. Practicing with peers, reading widely, and watching mock GDs can help students adapt to different discussion formats. In all types, clarity of thought, respectful interaction, and relevance of content are the most valued attributes. Now let us look at the examples for each of these types of group discussions. Case-based group discussion example. A company has launched a new product in the market, but the sales have been significantly lower than expected. The marketing team believes the pricing is too high, while the product team insists that the features justify the cost. The marketing team believes the pricing is too high, while the product team insists that the features justify the cost. You are part of a consulting group asked to evaluate the situation and suggest a strategy to improve sales while maintaining brand reputation. Abstract group discussion examples. The topic is the sound of silence. Participants can interpret this in multiple ways, such as inner peace, the power of non-verbal communication, the absence of dialogue in relationships, or even political silence in times of crisis. The discussion tests the depth of thought, creative interpretation, and coherence of ideas. Factual group discussion example. The topic is the role of renewable energy in India's economic growth. Participants are expected to bring in data, government initiatives, challenges in implementation, global comparisons, and the impact on employment and environment. The focus is on logical structuring and factual accuracy. Controversial group discussion examples. The topic is social media should be regulated by the government. This topic may invite strong views on privacy, freedom of expression, national security, misinformation, and censorship. Participants must present their stance with evidence while maintaining decorum and respecting different opinions. Let us now focus on case studies illustrating the application of outcomes of case-based, abstract, factual, and controversial group discussions in campus recruitment settings. Case-based group discussion case study. At a management campus placement drive, a reputed consulting firm gave students a case was facing customer backlash due to inconsistent hygiene standards across outlets. The group of 8 candidates was asked to assume the role of crisis consultants and devise a solution. One candidate proposed a quality audit system with training modules, another suggested transparent customer feedback integration. A third candidate took leadership by summarizing the key points and aligning the team towards a 3-phase strategy. The recruiter selected the candidate who displayed structured thinking, active listening, and facilitation skills, proving that leadership in collaboration is highly valued in case-based GDs. Let us now look at the case study related to abstract group discussion. During the recruitment process at a design and innovation firm, students were given the topic, the color red. While some spoke about emotions like anger and passion, one candidate connected it to branding and marketing psychology, citing examples from Coca-Cola and Netflix. Another linked it to historical revolutions and political ideologies. A particularly effective candidate used a structured metaphor to discuss red as a signal of urgency and importance in design and life choices. The recruiter selected this candidate for showing creativity, depth, and logical sequencing of abstract thoughts. illustrating that abstract GDs reward originality paired with clarity. Let us now look at the case study related to factual group discussion. At an engineering college placement session, a logistics company asked students to discuss the topic, Impact of Artificial Intelligence on Employment in India. Candidates brought its statistics from Niti Aayog, World Economic Forum reports, and current trends in automation. One participant stood out by presenting a balanced perspective with examples from manufacturing and service sectors, discussing both job displacement and new opportunities. The student concluded by highlighting the need for reskilling and adaptive education policies. The company appreciated the candidates' current awareness and articulation of complex realities, selecting them for their well-informed reasoning. Let us now focus on the case study related to controversial group discussions. A multinational IT firm conducting final interviews at a technology institute introduced the topic, should internet access be a fundamental right? The room quickly divided with strong opinions. Some participants were aggressive and dominating, while one candidate remained composed, acknowledged both sides, and brought in a balanced perspective and also examples from UN declarations, India's digital initiatives, and global debates. By getting the conversation back on track during heated moments, this candidate demonstrated emotional intelligence and leadership under pressure. The panel selected this student for showing maturity, diplomatic communication, and the ability to manage conflict in a group setting. These case studies illustrate how different group discussion formats test varied skill sets such as creativity, problem solving, current affairs knowledge, and emotional control, all critical in recruitment evaluations. Let us now focus on another set of case studies related to all these types of group discussions. These highlight how different skills are evaluated in each format. Let us now focus on the case study related to case-based group discussion. During a campus recruitment drive by a retail giant, candidates were presented with a scenario where a large supermarket chain was experiencing a drop in footfall due to the rise of e-commerce platforms. Participants were asked to act as a strategic team to recommend ways to regain customer loyalty. Some candidates focused on loyalty programs, others proposed digital transformation through mobile apps and in-store technology. One student effectively integrated all suggestions into a three-tier strategy involving customer engagement, digital integration, and strategic pricing. The panel chose this candidate for demonstrating synthesis, adaptability, and business awareness. Abstract group discussion case. Let us now focus on another abstract group discussion case study. A financial firm assessing candidates for creative problem-solving roles gave the topic "The Shadow Knows." The group interpreted the topic through lenses such as conscience, hidden fears, societal surveillance, and psychological behavior. One candidate impressed the panel by framing the shadow as a metaphor for risk in investment decisions and elaborated on how hidden market forces affect financial choices. The recruiter selected this candidate for applying an abstract idea to real-world economic behavior, showing originality and domain-specific thinking. Factual group discussion case study. At a journalism school placement, students were asked to discuss the topic fake news and its threat to democracy. Candidates debated with reference to recent political events, media manipulation, and regulatory gaps. One participant backed arguments with reports from Press Council of India and UNESCO, discussed ethical journalism, and suggested media literacy campaigns as a long-term solution. The evaluator appreciated the students' data-driven approach and thoughtful thinking. The evaluator appreciated the students' data-driven approach and thoughtful recommendations, selecting them for their factual depth and structured delivery. Controversial group discussion case study. An HR consultancy firm conducting interviews at a business school introduced the topic, "Are corporate quotas for women justified?" Are corporate quotas for women justified? The discussion became intense, with participants arguing for meritocracy versus the need for structural correction. One candidate took a measured stand, acknowledged workplace biases, and cited both international corporate policies and Indian data on gender diversity. By balancing empathy with logic and mediating between opposing views, this candidate demonstrated maturity and inclusivity. The company selected them for their ability to lead a balanced and respectful conversation on polarizing issues. These case studies demonstrate that successful candidates in GDs are not those who speak the most, but those who think critically, respond strategically, and collaborate constructively, depending on the nature of the discussion.